Hi, this is Stephen Downs, and this is another edition of Stephen Follows Instructions. This is actually my third attempt to get this running. First of all, I had some sound issues, and that's why I have the wire here. I have wonderful Bose headphones, but they're a bit flaky sometimes with the Bluetooth connection. And then I got started, and then everything crashed. I think I lost my internet connection for a bit. But really, I hadn't gotten very far into it. So I'm going to start over because I hadn't gotten far into it. Because why not? So what I'm doing today, in addition to attempting to live stream, is I'm setting up Laravel, Nginx, and MySQL with Docker Compose. Now, Nginx is a web server, kind of like Apache. It's very common, very popular. MySQL is a database. Docker is a container service. Docker Compose is a way to set up your container service. And Laravel, I've never used Laravel before. I know it's in PHP, and that's pretty much all I know. I'm following instructions from DigitalOcean. They're a cloud hosting service. They're pretty good. I've used them before. But today I'll be using a different service. I'll be using reclaim.cloud. And normally I've had no problem with them at all. So I'm expecting not to have a problem this time. So I'm just going to close. In fact, I'm actually going to destroy this thing that I was working on before because I don't know what happened to it, but it all died. It died when, I guess, my internet connection died. These things happen, and you just have to roll with them. So what I'm going to do, the URL to get here is reclaim.cloud. And the way to create a new Docker environment, click on Marketplace, click on Docker Engine CE, and I'm going to click Install. I'll just go with the default because I don't care. And this will take a minute or so to set up. You'll notice my balance is kind of hard to see now. Is $18.68. This entire thing that we're doing today might cost me maybe $1. Probably not even that. Probably not even close to that. And keep in mind, I've got a couple of other container engines running there in the background. All right. So while that's loading, let's go to the DigitalOcean website. How to set up Laravel, Nginx, and MySQL Docker Compose. So what I'm up to here is trying to learn more about how to use Docker Compose. I'm the sort of person who tries to stuff everything into a single Docker container, and you shouldn't do that. So I'm trying to work with a number of different Docker containers altogether. What Docker Compose does is it will set up and load several containers and connect them to each other. So here we go. The prerequisites, you need the Ubuntu server and a non-root user with sudo privileges. I'm just using a cloud server with root because I like to live dangerously. Docker installed, Docker Compose installed. I get all that with the reclaim, so I don't need to do any of that prerequisite stuff to start up. Here it is. Okay, so it's my Docker Engine CE application has been successfully deployed. I can close this announcement. I can close this marketplace, and here it is. It's running. Here's the engine node, and I can directly SSH right into it. To SSH, what that means is I'm opening up a terminal in my Docker engine, and here's my terminal. And as you can see, I've logged in. I'm root. I'm in the root directory probably. Yep. And that's where I should be. Now I could create a user and go into the users directory and use sudo and all of that. And if I wanted to be safe, I would, but this is very temporary, so I'm not too worried. So back to DigitalOcean. Step 1, downloading Laravel and installing dependencies. So we'll get the latest version of Laravel and install the dependencies for the project, including Composer, the application level package manager for PHP. Okay, just before we crashed last time, I was confused about that because it's called Composer, not to be confused with Docker Compose. So if I click on this link, it's something completely different. So, okay, we could have done better with the naming. So, all right, so let's first of all clone. I'll copy this. That's pretty cool. I like that. I'll just copy that and we'll clone the repository into this. So the repository's on GitHub, good place for it, and cloning means I'm just bringing a copy of it and putting it right here into my environment. So there it is, and as you can see, it's that fast, right? So now if I list the directory, you can see I have Laravel-app as a directory, and I'm going to cd into that and ls to list the contents, and so a bunch of expected sort of stuff. Config, database, resources, readme.md. Let's see what readme says. We'll go back to the instructions in a bit, right? More readme. So the more command just displays all the contents of the file. Okay, so this is not the nicest looking. About Laravel. Laravel is a web application framework with expressive, elegant syntax. Okay. So, and here's the more part. You just hit the space bar to get more. And so that was a pretty useless README file. All right. Never mind. Let's go back to the instructions. CD Laravel app, we just did that. Now, use Docker's Composer image to mount the directories you'll need for your Laravel. Okay, this, I honestly don't know what we're doing. This is where we crashed last time. And I don't think it had anything to do with this, right? So, you never know. So, I'm going to go here. I'm going to paste that. Okay, so you see I've typed in the command. Let's see what happens when I hit enter. Hitting enter. Unable to find it locally. Okay, so we're pulling the image and downloading. All right. Downloading a bunch of stuff, and 74 packages you are using are looking for funding. Okay. I still don't know what we've installed. It looks like we've installed a bunch of packages. This must all be PHP stuff. Symfony, and so I'm not going to worry about that so much. Maybe I should, but so I'm curious though what this is. Okay, Composer is a dependency manager written in and for PHP. Okay, so all right, so it's just loading PHP libraries. Okay. All right, so we've installed that. using the -v and --rm flags with Docker run creates an ephemeral container that will be bind mounted to your current directory before being removed. This will copy the contents of your Laravel app directory to the container and also ensure that the vendor folder composer creates inside the container is copied to your current directory. That is a hard sentence. So I'm not sure exactly what they're trying to say here and why we're doing it. But the best I can get now, when I build a container with Perl, what I have to do is I have to clone my GitHub repository, which brings in all the Perl script. And then when I've brought in all the Perl script to set up my containers, I set up my container and then I copy the Perl script locally into the container. And I also have to set up the Perl environment in the container to make sure all of the different Perl modules are run. I think that's what this is doing here, except for PHP. So it'll set up the container, make sure all the modules are installed, copy over the code, and then the container that's doing all of this for me will disappear, leaving me with a nice fresh setup PHP container. I think that's what's happening. It would have been nice if the text had actually said that, but they said this instead. And I've got an incoming call. Of course I do. So I'm just going to pause here. Hello? Speaking. Yeah, that's correct. I'm on a septic system here in Castleman, and I'm in a subdivision, an older subdivision that recently has converted over to the Castleman sewage system. I'm one of the last in our little subdivision to do it, but I need to connect from septic to the sewage system. Oh, you just, okay. Cold water. Would they would do something just for a single house like mine? Okay. Yeah, it's just down the road from here. All right, I'll give them a call. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. Okay. So this is what happens when you're doing live stuff. So anyhow, yeah, well, as you know, as you heard, I'm trying to get hooked up to town sewage. Okay. Such is life. This is my life. Okay. As a final step, set permissions on the project directory so it is owned by your non-root user. Probably not an issue. Now, since I am root, I don't need the sudo part. Chown change owner, recursively, user, that's a wildcard for me, Laravel app. So I probably don't need to do this, but I'm going to. And ls-l shows me all the users. So this is the user, and this is the group, and this is the file size, this is the date it was contained, and these are all the different files. So and the blue things, those are directories, and the white, those are individual files. So I'm not seeing anything I recognize here like a Docker file or a Docker compose file, but I imagine we'll see something like that coming up. I hope so. All right. This will be important when you write the Docker file. That's why I'm not seeing one. for your application image in step 4, as it will allow you to work with your application code and run processors. Okay. With your application, okay, you can move on to defining your services with Docker Compose. Step 2, creating the Docker Compose file. All right. The Docker Compose simplifies the process of setting up and versioning your infrastructure. True. We will write a Docker Compose file that defines our web server, database, and application services. So the web server, that'll be Nginx. The database, that'll be MySQL. The application services, that'll be the PHP stuff. So, open the file. Nano Docker Compose. Now this is going to be a new file, right? Because it's not already there. We know that because we just looked for it. So you see, it's not already there. So Nano is it's a text editor. It's just making this a bit bigger. In fact, let's make it way bigger because we're not going to need to do anything else for a little bit. So I don't know how to make this text on this screen bigger for you. I wish I did. You know, presumably there's a way, but I have no idea how to do it. There's a little keyboard there. Copy, paste, setting. No, that doesn't help me at all. Okay. All right. So, Nano and Laravel app. So, well, I'm in that directory, but this is overkill, right? They've just made me CD into here, right? Now, I'm already there, but they're making me use the full URL. This indicates that it's my home directory, which we know is the root directory in our case. Then the Laravel app is where we are, and there's this thing. I could just go nano docker compose.yml and I get the same result. But let's do it the way they do it, just for completeness. And we'll see. Okay, so what that's done is opened the Nano window. Boy, that was really fast. So you might not have seen the actual command go in there, but too late. So now in the Docker Compose, we're going to go away. Going to set up 3 services: app, web server, and DB. So okay, so we're going to copy all of this, but let's have a look at it before we just paste it in. So PHP service, the app, build context is this dot, that's the current directory. So we'll be building our Docker file in the current directory. We'll be using a base image called digitalocean.com/php. We'll be naming this container app. It'll restart. I don't know what TTY is, so let's look that up. Because, okay, TTY, that doesn't tell me. I mean, TTY usually means like some kind of environment. Docker goes. I don't know what it is. TTY true. Okay, well maybe let's look for that and see, maybe that'll help us. TTY true. It'll allow us, I guess, to it'll allow us to have a shell window into it. I don't know. Well, this is really annoying. I can't see. anything that tells me what this means. There we go. What does TTY true do? Really hard to find this stuff. Okay, what's this do? That's what I'm trying to find out. Decides whether a TTY is attached or not. It's a mechanic used to implement input and output, usually for the sake of enhanced interactivity. All right. I love this. I can say from practical experience that you'll simply know when a TTY is needed and not. You'll run into a strange issue you've never seen before and come to the conclusion that a TTY is required to run that particular command. So there you have it. You'll just know by intuition. I imagine it means we'll be running shell commands from our PHP application. That's my best guess. All right. So environment, service name, app. So these, what we're doing here is we're defining some environment variables. These variables will be available inside our software later on if we need them. Okay, so that's for the PHP and networks, app network. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but we'll see if that becomes important. Here's the web server. It's going to use the, so you see, notice this is build, so we're going to build this image locally, but this image we're just going to grab the Nginx Alpine image. It's pre-built, we're just grabbing it from the Docker hub. Give it a name, restart and must stop, ports 8080, so that means it will map from port 80 to port 80 and from port 443 to port 443. This is your standard HTML or HTTP port. This is your secure HTTPS port. Now for the MySQL, same thing, right? We're just grabbing a predefined MySQL image. Ports, we're mapping from 3306 to 3306. These are the standard MySQL database ports. Environment, these are again environment variables that will be available locally. This is the name of the database. I would need to type in my password here and then some service tags. And then Docker networks, not sure why we need that, not sure what that does. But it's there, so we'll see. App network. So okay, so there's networks, app network, so they're all in this app network, and then here's app network driver bridge. So okay, so it's going to explain the app, the web server, the DB. It's not going to tell us at all about this, and this is the most interesting thing in the whole file. Okay, oh, here we go. To facilitate communication between containers, the services are connected to a bridge network, uses a software bridge that allows connected to the same bridge network to communicate with each other. Awesome. Well, we need that, right? This creates a greater level of security for applications, ensuring that only related services can communicate with one another. Very good, like that. All right, so let's create that file. So I've already copied it. I'll go to reclaim. I'll paste it in here. How? I'm just going to try using Control V, and that does appear to have pasted it. Oops. So Nano is, like I say, a text editor. So what you see is what you get, text editor. So you can move. I'm just using the arrow keys to move up and down. If I wanted to add content, I would just type the content. So, and now Control S ought to save. X off ignored, mumble, fine. And then X, Control X to exit. Save modified buffer, yes, we want to save. File name to write, docker compose.yml, yes. And okay, let's list. And so here's the file, docker compose yml, that we've just created, and I can use the more command to verify that my content has gone into it. And there it is. Okay, good. All right. So later on, we'll be using this to actually start up all of our containers. But we still have to create one of them. The Docker file that we're using to build our app. All right. Continuing on with our instructions. Step 3, persisting data. Yeah, because we want the data to stick around even if we've turned off the container for a bit. So what we're going to do is use volumes and bind mounts. Okay, volumes offer flexibility and persistence, while bind mounts facilitate code changes during development, making changes to your host files or directories immediately available to your containers. Our setup will make use of both. So here's what I understand to be the case. Again, this is Stephen follows instructions, not Stephen tells you how everything is done. I think that when we declare a volume, the name of a volume, it'll be a directory like var/lib/mysql. Docker will take that directory and save it somewhere. With a long convoluted name that you really can't find easily, but it'll save it and it'll know where it is for the next time you start up Docker. The bind mount is, instead of saving it in some obscure file, we tell it where we want it to save it, so that I could make a change in my local directory, and because it's bound to the Docker directory, that change is reflected inside my Docker image. So I understand. Could be wrong. Probably not that wrong, but could be wrong. All right, back to it. In my Docker compose file, so I'm going to go back in there. So define a volume called DB data under the DB service definition to persist the MySQL database. So we're copying just that. I'll click on copy because I'm pretty sure that's all we'll copy. So let's go back into the container. So there's nano I'll use again. So I'll open it up. Okay. So I've forgotten where I'm putting this. Oh, it's in the MySQL. So down here, down, right above networks. Now I'll just hit enter and I'll hit Control V. Oh, I hate the way Nano does this. Nano is annoying sometimes because it doesn't paste into where you want it to paste. It pastes in some unrelated place. So, but now at least it's here. I'll just type it. I'm sure there's an easier way to do this. And, oh, it's not going to be that easy to type. Let's just X out. Let's see what I've got. It really just, it messes everything up. You can't. And there's probably a right way to do it, right? But I don't know what that right way is. So, and it's not explained anywhere. So, okay, there's the space where I wanted it to go. Here's something else instead. Here's my volume. Oh, it copied the whole thing and then just attached it to the end. Oh, that's really annoying. Okay, I get what happened. All right. So, volumes. I'll keep that in mind for next time. And hyphen db data. That's going to be the name of the volume on this Docker CE environment, and then var lib MySQL. That's the directory that I want to create a volume for in the container itself. Now that's a volume that's a directory that's already going to exist, and later on what'll be in that directory is my database contents. So I'm telling Docker, save that directory. Don't just toss it when we close. And put that directory locally into a directory called dbdata. So okay, get rid of all this where it copied. Yeah, see, it just pasted it onto the bottom of the file instead of where my cursor was, and that wasn't very useful at all. Okay, MySQL service, driver, bridge. No, I think that's it, right? Let's come back here. Oh, that ... is not part of it, isn't it? Driver, bridge, right. So that ... okay. Jeez. Now I know there's more here because I read ahead just a few seconds ago. So okay, come back down, and we also want to at the bottom of the file, okay, I assume at the bottom of the Docker compose file, so you just whip off it, the bottom of the file. You got to be clear about what file you're talking about. But here we go. All right, so actually this will be okay. We can just copy this. It'll actually put it to the bottom of the file. We discovered that. So I'm going to copy that, go in here. I'll just try pasting it. All right, so there we go. Okay, so you see what we've done here. Now we've defined it inside that one container, the MySQL service container. Just make that a little clearer, right? Pretty sure that won't make a difference, but it'll make life easier for me later on, just because I can see more clearly how the file is organized. Okay, so I've got this separate section at the bottom called volumes, dbdata, driver, local. Okay, driver local means inside the Docker CE engine. Those are more complex than some of the other stuff I've seen, so it's interesting to see what's going on here. All right, next add a bind mount for the DB service for the MySQL configuration files you will create in step 7. Okay, so something I'll do later. So where is this? Okay, this is a bind mount. All right, so this is, okay, I don't know why we couldn't have done that before, but okay. So this is going to go right underneath this, right? So let's just make this a bit easier for myself, because I know I can't just copy it and paste it in. So let's come back here and, all right. So I need to take this and gee, I can just make this a little smaller. There, that's easier to work with, isn't it? Okay, so All right. Volumes. Hey, there it is. DB data. Don't use tab here. I learned the hard way. You have to type it out. Okay, MySQL. My.cnf. Colon. etc. MySQL. My.cnf. Okay, CNF is the universal shorthand for configuration. So this is the MySQL configuration file, and we're storing that locally as well, in kind of a hidden directory. MySQL/my. It's not that hidden, but it's a subdirectory. Okay. All right. Good enough. Next, add bind mounts to the web server service. So the web server service is the Nginx. That's up above. And, okay, same kind of thing, right? So right above networks. So Nginx right after ports. Okay, volumes. Again, I'm sure there's a way of cutting and pasting this, but I don't know what it is. Okay, so var www, all of that's going to go right into the current directory. Seems a little dangerous to me, but, well, not dangerous, but just loose. But okay. And then /Nginx /conf.d configuration, right? And that's mapping to etc Nginx conf.d. Again, we're mapping the configuration file. Okay, let's see if there's more. Configuration files. Finally, add the bind mounts to the app service for the application code and configuration files. So it's up here above, again right above the networks. So volumes. In a way, it's better if I type this out because I'm more likely to remember it. Hyphen, again, right locally. Whatever is stored locally will be in var www, or conversely rather, whatever's in var www will be stored locally right in this current directory. And then some configuration for the PHP. Local.ini. So that's going to be in our Docker CE environment, and then inside the container that will map to USR local etc PHP conf.d local.ino. Alright. Should be everything, unless we have to go down to the bottom, but we'll see. Okay, so we're binding the var www, speeds up development process. Okay, because any change made to your local application directory here will be instantly reflected inside the container. Okay, makes life easier. You don't have to go inside the container to edit your software. Okay, and now there's the whole thing, what the whole thing should look like. Still haven't touched that, but we'll come back to it, I'm sure. Okay, so we'll save the file. Control S will be ignored. Oops, didn't need to do that. Control X, save modified buffer, yes. File name, yes. And okay, so we've created and saved our docker compose.yml file. Now we need to create a Docker file. That's the file that's going to run here that will build locally, that contains our PHP stuff. In the world of Perl, we would build our Perl stuff. Okay. So it will be located in the Laravel app directory. So create the file nano -app/docker file. Okay, so now we're editing a file called Docker file. Alright, this will set the base image and specify the necessary commands and instructions to build the Laravel application image. So from the so this is the base box or base container that we're going to use. It's called PHP 7.2-FPM. Somewhere out there in the world, somebody has built a PHP box for us. So we're going to copy composer lock and composer JSON. So these are some files. I'm not sure exactly what they are, but we need them, I guess. Well, the JSON is probably going to be configuration. It's for that composer application that we used. Set up the working directory. Okay. Install some directories. Yeah. Okay. apt-get. That's characteristic of an Ubuntu environment. Pretty sure that'll work. Okay, so various libraries, vim, unzip, git to run GitHub, curl to run web requests. Going to clear our cache, install some PHP extensions, install Composer, which is our package manager, add a user for the Laravel application, a local user, okay. Copy existing application directory content. So everything that's in our local directory is going to go into var www in the container, but not subdirectories. It looks like it's just the local directory. Copy existing application directory permissions, change the current user to www, and we'll expose port 9000, and then cmd. What this means is when the container starts up, it will run this command php-fpm. So it'll start a PHP server. Okay, so let's copy all of that. I understand all of that. I understand all of that. Okay. So Control V. Looks like it more or less wrote properly. Yeah. Okay. And now it's telling us. Okay, we'll save the file. All of this text is what I just said to you. Okay, so Control S, which it'll ignore. Whoops, not there. It'll ignore Control S, but I do it out of habit. Control X, save modified buffer, yes. Docker file, yes. All right, wrote 40 lines. Configure PHP, step 5. So, what are we doing? Now that we've defined our infrastructure, we can configure the PHP service to act as a PHP processor for incoming requests from Nginx. Yeah, so this is something that I'm not used to. And it's a bit different. See, we have a PHP server, and an Nginx server. Nginx basically takes the request that comes in and sends it to the PHP server, and then the PHP server is going to handle it. And that's what this thing here, PHP FPM, is. I'm not used to that in Perl, so I'm not sure exactly how all that works. But okay, so now remembering whatever is in this directory is going to get copied into the image. We've set that up. So now I know that when I'm making a directory here, I'm also making a directory that will run inside the image. So, okay, make dir Laravel, or what? I'm in Laravel app. Sometimes, I mean, I get why they do it like this. It's you know, although, you know, it's really kind of confusing. I mean, if you didn't know what you were doing, this would be meaningless. But just to be clear, make dir, this is all going to be the same. If I typed make dir PHP, right? Or if I typed make dir tilde thing Laravel app PHP, or if, whoops, dang, where was I? Here we go. Go away. Or if I typed, what's my current directory? Make dir /root /Laravel app /PHP. They would all make the PHP directory. I'm lazy. So there's our PHP directory. Any one of those three commands would have done that. Now I'm going to create a local.ini file inside that directory. Okay. Now I could go cd php and then nano local.ini, or I can do it the way these guys do it and just use a single command. That's what I'll do this time because I'm lazy. So, to demonstrate how we'll configure PHP, we'll add the following code to set size limitations for uploaded files, 40 megabytes. Alright. So we're probably not going to do much more configuration than that, eh? Okay. We can put any specific PHP configuration we want in here. I guess the main thing is we have a file here because we know that Docker Compose will be looking for it. Okay, so Control S. Oops, not here. Control S, which will be ignored. Control X. Save it. Yes. All right. Okay. So how long have we been streaming, I wonder? It's really kind of hard to tell. 48 minutes. Okay, not bad. Not bad. Oh, heh. I just got a message here. Sure, we'll show that. Why not? He's offering an astronomy CMOOC. He would like to send a motivational message. Oh, he would like me to send a motivational message. Yeah, sure, I can do that. Professor Leandro? Sure. Let me just send off a... Why not? You know, I mean, if I can offer a motivational message, I'd be happy to. Please email me and we'll set it up. There we go. So I've sent him an email, and I'll just say, little smiley face. Okay, so I had somebody watching my live stream. Cool. All right. Yeah. Oh, geez, I even peaked at 3 people there for a bit. All right, back to where I was. Because, yeah, this really does qualify as some of the world's most boring video. But, you know, I like doing it. And it's helpful, maybe, so that people can see how I think. And also, if they ever create artificial intelligence versions of people, and somebody gets around to saying, hey, maybe we should make an AI version of Stephen Downes, they can use this video so that their AI can emulate not just what I know, but how I figure things out. Boy, that was some wide-eyed staring, right? And so you get a real sense of me in your artificial intelligence. I don't know if that's a good thing, but there it is. All right, we've saved our PHP ini file. So, okay. And if we go into PHP subdirectory, we'll list everything in it. There it is. And we'll go back out of it. Okay. Step 6, configuring Nginx. Took me a long time to figure out that this should be pronounced Nginx, right? But Nginx. Nginx. I used to call it Nginx. Because, you know, Ng, kind of like the Vietnamese name, Nginx. But no, Nginx. Okay. To configure Nginx, you'll have to create an app.conf file with the service configuration in the Nginx subdirectory. So, first of all, we have to make the Nginx config subdirectory. Make directory -p. I don't know what the -p does. So anyhow, that will make the directory, but I want to know what the -p does. Probably carries over permissions or something. Linux man page, which is not written in English. It's written in computerese. See, how is this helpful? Right? Yeah, there's some. Make there. Create the directory and, if required, all parent directories. Okay. Well, that's nice. Okay. Yeah, because usually I would make, first I'd make the Nginx directory, then I'd make the confd directories. But no, you just make the directory and then you just do the whole subdirectory string and there you go. Okay, good. Now I know. Okay, so we've done that. Let's come back to our environment here. All right, now we need to create the app.conf file. We're using nano again. So, all right. And there we are, and adding the following code to specify your Nginx configuration. Server listen 80. So this will be a non-secure HTTP server. If I wanted it to be secure, I'm pretty sure this would be different. These are our index files. Error log goes here, access log goes here. Root, in other words, where the initial starting directory is, goes here. Location. Okay. So all this fast CGI stuff is the stuff that actually helps Nginx run the PHP. Not sure how all that works. Location, try files. So I'm not really sure what these, like I say, Nginx totally new to me, right? So I'm not really sure what these location things are doing for Nginx. That's the user's home directory. And then something slash .php $. Don't know. I think that this is similar to the environments in Apache. So if the URL comes in and it ends with a .php, and that $sign means this is where it ends. That's a holdover from regular expressions. I remember regular expressions. Then try. Okay, so we'll try to run this PHP. Here we go. So we're going to pass it to app port 9000. App is our PHP handler, our PHP server, to port 9000. So it's the PHP is going to have to be listening at port 9000 for this to work, but that might be part of what it does automatically. The index is index.php, include fast CGI parameters. That'll be like the request string, or if you submit a form, the contents of the form. Okay, and then script file name. So document root fast CGI script name. So that'll, if you have different names for different scripts, you're not just going to be running one script. You have a number of them that'll tell you here's where it is, and then here's the path information for the I'm not sure for what path info. Not sure. Fast CGI path info. Not sure what that is. And then otherwise, anything else, and try to find the file located at that URL, or we'll send it to index.php with the query string submitted, or something, or yeah. Okay, yeah, okay, I get it now. If it's anything else, if it's our URL plus whatever, we'll send it to index.php with whatever is a query string. gzip static on. I know that in Nginx, turning gzip on or off affects the speed of the server. Don't ask me why. Okay. Okay, so this is right. So the fast CGI pass directive specifies that the app service is listening on a TCP socket at port 9000. Yep. This makes the server listen over the network rather than on a Unix socket. Exactly. All right. So let's copy this and save it. Copy, save. This is a lot more complex in Apache, trust me. And I have done this in Apache. That's how I know it's a lot more complex. Okay, so Control S, which will be ignored. Control X, save, yes, and saved. Okay, configuring MySQL. Got to do pretty much the same kind of thing here now. So we're going to make the directory. The MySQL directory, we're making it locally. It'll be copied into the container. We're going to make the MySQL configuration file. This will probably be pretty basic. And it is general log equals 1. Okay, here's where the log goes. Yeah. That's about it, eh? So Control V. What's wrong? The lines came out a bit different here. Let's just make sure all of my lines match all of their lines. Okay. Control SS, which will be ignored. Control X. Save. Yes. My.cnf. Yes. Okay. Our next step will be to start the containers. Yay! All right. Now that we've defined all of our services in the Docker Compose and created the configuration for these services, you can start the containers. As a final step, though, so before we start the containers, we'll make a copy of the env example file that Laravel includes by default and name the copy .env. Okay, so let's have a look at this file first. It's called .env. Well, where is it? I don't see it. More env.example. Nope. Oh, need a space minimally. Ah, there it is. Okay. So this is a configuration file specifically for Laravel. So, and it's interesting, ls did not show up because it's not, when I just do ls, it doesn't show the hidden files. ls-l should show more, but still doesn't show the .env file. I'm not sure how to show hidden files using ls. Let's find out. Run with the A flag. Okay. So we'll run it with ls-a, ls-a, and -l because I want the nice big display. There we go. So yeah, so there's those are the directories. So here's the .git file that's created when I ran the git clone command. Here's the env example file, and there's some other stuff here. Styliki, I don't know what that does. Editor config for my nano. I'll bet you it might be for my nano. Yeah, it is. Charset, end of line, indent size. Still nothing about the size of the text, eh? Okay. Alright, so let's do what it says. We're going to copy the example to a .env file. So now we've created a file. See if we run that same command again. See, there's the file that we've just created at this exact moment. 2114, which is actually 4:15 here. So it's 4:15. I'm running out of daylight. Okay. Find the block. Okay, so now we need to edit this. So let's edit this. Nano.env. Okay. And yeah. So yeah, it's just a okay. DB host will be your DB database container. Okay, so, all right, so it's actually going to name them, eh? So we need to name DB host, DB database, the name of the database, DB username, and DB password, and that can be whatever I want it to be, I guess. So let's make those changes. Okay. DB, okay, DB connection, DB host equals DB. So, okay, so this DB host could be the URL or IP address for somewhere out there on the internet, or it could be localhost, or it could be 127.0.0.1, which is also localhost, or in our local network, it's DB 3306. Mention that's the regular port for the database. Username Laravel user and DB password. I'm just gonna make it your Laravel DB password. That's about as insecure as you can imagine, but that's what I'm making my password. Control X, save modify buffer, yes, yes, okay. Now we just need to issue, after all that, we just need to issue a single command to start all of your containers, create the volumes, and connect. So this is moment of truth. And, oh, I've been on this screen. So here's the thing that I just edited. And here it is. See, I had to do an ls-a-l to actually get the directory list that showed me where all of these different things were. So, and here's env example, and now I've made one, and here's the file that I've edited, and here are the values that I put in. All right. Moment of truth. Let's see if it runs. That's a little anticlimactic. Docker compose up -d. D is probably detach. So Docker compose up. So it wants to run Docker compose, and then -d. I assume that means detach, and what that means is run it as a separate process and then give me back a command prompt here so I can do other stuff while my Docker compose is running out there by itself. Error. There's an error in Docker compose. .yml line 1 column 1 expected block end but found scalar. So nano Docker compose y maybe it did matter that I put them all. Remember I said that won't matter? Maybe it did. That's my first guess. I mean, I could be wrong, right? And this might matter too then. Docker compose files are really finicky, and I don't know why they're so finicky. But they are. All right, let's try that again. Expected block end but found scalar. Line 1 column 1. Like right at the very beginning of the file. I don't understand. I don't see what the problem is there. Okay, let's see what Google Help tells me. All right, how do I fix my Docker compose? So here's the same error I got. There's an indentation issue. Oh, duh. Still cannot get it to work. You're missing the services tag, like it has here. Maybe. Am I supposed to have services version 2? I remember I tried another version of the Docker files and I had that issue. All right, let's try adding a services tag. Not in the article, but I assume it's not in the article. Do we see it up here at all? Yeah, there it is. Do I have a services tag? No. Oh, there we go. Okay. See what happened? When I copied it, remember it did that in one other place. It didn't give me a line feed where it should have. So now, there. Now I have my services on its own line. That should fix it, maybe. Like I said, finicky for no particular reason. Nope. Maybe this is supposed to be right there. Could be. Maybe there should be a line between version 3 and services. Could be. Control X. Well, we'll try a line then. And try that. Nope. Okay, let's try removing the version line. I remember that worked on a different one. Now compose. Oops. Or is that lowercase? I think that's lowercase, isn't it? Services, lowercase. Yep, okay. Control S. Oh, Control X. Save. Yes. Let's try that. Nope. Why? Expected block end, but found block mapping start. For him, it was an extra space and wrong use of quotes. Let's try the online YAML parser. I actually tried this before and it came out perfectly fine, but was still an issue. But let's try that. So, oops. So I'm going to try copying all of this. I have the shift button down, Control C. I think I've copied all of that. We'll come over here, I'll try pasting it, Control V. I succeeded in copying the first line. Okay, let's try highlighting it. Oh, for goodness sakes. Let's at least try copying this, just the top. Oh, well, that's odd. All right, try copying this to at least here. We'll see what we get. All right. I'm just experimenting here, right? You know. All right, that actually looks right. That really looks fine. Let's try removing these comments. Because I don't know, right? I'm just guessing here. We don't know. Okay. Nope. Unsupported config. Well, that's better. Config option for services app. Okay, but that's not helpful. Boy, this is annoying, eh? And the really annoying part is I followed the instructions to the letter. And including like copying them and pasting them in. Let's so this is the whole file. Let's copy this. This is your whole file, right? With all the volumes and stuff. I'm going to wipe out what I've got. I'm going to wipe it out very slowly. RM Docker Compose. Okay. That was a faster way of wiping it out. Now I'm going to paste in exactly what they have. Now already I can see there's an issue right there. Where the line feed is wrong. There might be a wrong line feed somewhere else, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't think there is. I'm looking to see if there is. Well, I'm just going to save it like this. Although I'm pretty sure this will fail. And it does, as expected. So I'll fix that one error that I know exists. I'll try saving that. Try that. Nope. Okay, I'll try indenting that another one. Oops. Okay. Nope. I'm puzzled. I am puzzled. All right, I'm going to try. All right, I'm going to quit. So you have something big like this, right? It's a great big long file and it's not working, and you're getting an unhelpful one-line error message. So I'm just going to build it up until I find the place where it fails. So I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to close Control X. Try it one more time, let it fail. Okay, so I'm going to remove it. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I use the up and down keys. I can cycle through the commands that I've already typed in. And that way I don't have to type them out over and over again. Okay, so now I'm going to start over again with a blank file. Let's just try just the very basic. I'll copy this and see if this part of it works. Probably won't, right? Control X, save. Let's try it. Whoops. No. Don't want to remove. That's the danger of doing that. Docker compose up. Right, so it fails. Okay. So let's edit. Now I know this is an issue right here. Okay. Control X. Save that. See if that runs. Probably won't. Nope, still a problem. So I'm basically going to wipe stuff out of here until I have something that works. So let's start wiping. Because the problem's probably right in the first few lines. Okay. Let's see if that works. Nope. It's still the same problem, right? so let's try it like that. Ah, okay, so it liked that. Okay, I don't care about that error at this point in time. Let's see if I can add a few more lines to that compose file. Like, say, the rest of it. Let's try the rest of it. After Docker file, so all of this. Let's try to add that. Okay. And again, the indenting has to be exactly right. So, 4, okay, that should like that. Okay, undefined network, app network, that's fine. I don't care about that. All right, maybe I can add the rest and it'll work. Some odd stuff that might, so some of that indenting might create a problem. We'll see. Control S, Control X. Nope, it was okay. All right, it's building the app now. And now it's found the error that we had before. Docker file parse error. So let's go into the Docker file. And I've forgotten what line it is, and it doesn't matter because oh, it should be just up above here somewhere. Or maybe not. No, it's not going to let us see. All right, I have to exit, run the command again, and this time remember what the error was. Line 23, unknown instructions. All right, so let's try to find line 23 and that instruction. No line numbers, naturally, but there should be a line number indicator somewhere. I don't see one. All right, let's do it the hard way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 21, 22, 23. Again with that line spacing issue, eh? And here it is again. So there's something in that original article that doesn't do the line feeds correctly. And so things get mixed up a bit. And you know, there aren't delimiters like semicolons or periods or whatever. They use the line feeds to tell us when the end of the line is, and so it gets confused. If you're going to continue a line, you need to have one of these. Otherwise, it thinks it's a new instruction. Each instruction is on its own line. So you can join them with a couple of ampersands. But, you know, it's going to say, here's the instruction, here's the command, and then here are some parameters for that command. And I'm wondering too, right? Should this be part of this line? Like that? You know, I think it should be. Same here. So I'm going to run curl. So maybe, let's see, I don't know. Let's go back to the Docker file in here. Run. Yeah, I see. See? We should continue. Don't know why we have two things like that. That's a bit unusual, but okay. But definitely, there's none of our lines begins with a double hyphen like it does here. Right? So each one of these lines should have like a proper command. Copy, copy, copy. That's kind of weird there too, right? Copy chon. Okay. Alright, that looks better. Let's try that. Save that. We'll try to run the Docker compose command. That looks better. So now it's pulling all of our contents. Look at that puppy go. Still don't know if it'll actually work, but it's building. Build complete. So creating lib tool. It's a bunch of Ruby stuff. I don't know why there's Ruby stuff in there. Might have something to do with Nginx. I don't know. No idea, really. But there's a lot of it. Oh, that was a warning. Hope that's not a problem. It's really hard to read this as it goes by. But as long as it keeps going by, we're all right, you know. Unless it's in a loop. But I don't think it's in a loop. No, it's loading something different with each line. It just gives you an idea, though, of just how complex a lot of this stuff is under the hood, because each one of these lines is a configuration command or an install command or some separate piece of code. Looks like we're onto the PHP stuff now. Libraries have been installed. Build complete. Okay. So now that the build is complete, we'll do some more building. I'm assuming a lot of this stuff is what that PHP compose is doing, because it all looks really unfamiliar to me. And yes, I have learned the art of reading files that are moving by that fast. It's a skill similar to what stockbrokers have to read those stock tickers, except this is a little more a little more involved. Oops. Oh, we got stuff happening here. Just doing some checking. Creating live tool. More checking. Oh, man. That's okay. I mean, the Perl stuff takes this long to build as well. So, while that's building, let's look ahead a little bit. I've lost our instructions. Nope. Where did our instructions go? That's where this is. Huh. Oh, weird. No. Did I close the window? Couldn't have closed the window. Control H. Laravel. Let's see. Right, should be a DigitalOcean site. There it is. Alright. Don't know what happened to my instructions, but oh well. I'd probably close them on myself. Alright, so looking ahead. Alright, it'll download, it'll take a while. Yeah, demonizes the process running your containers in the background. Demonizes. Detaches. Okay, once the process is complete, use the command to list the containers. There should be 3 containers. So, how are we doing here? Ah, and they're done. So let's run docker ps to look at all the containers. Oops. Oh, that's what happened, right? Duh. I had already, I was running that in a separate window, that's why. All right. So let's try to find it where we were. Okay, docker ps. So there's our 3 running containers. Been up about a minute. Okay, we will now use docker compose exec to set the application key. Now what exec will do is I run the command here, docker compose exec, and then whatever follows will actually execute in the container. That's what this does. So docker compose exec app php. Okay, so in my PHP app, artisan key generate. Artisan is the program that I'm running, and here's what I want it to do. Okay, I get what's happening here. So hit that. Fatal error. Oh, well, this is so typical of PHP. Your composer dependencies require a PHP version greater than or equal to 7.3.0. You are running 7.2.34. I used to hate that when I was working with PHP because it meant you had to install PHP all over from scratch. Maybe I can... still the same problem. I wonder if it'll work anyways. Let's find out. So it probably won't, but there might not be much I can do about that. So let's try opening it in the browser. Yeah, Composer detected issues. Yeah, it's the same problem. Platform. I wonder if I can hack my way through that. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Your Composer dependencies. Platform check. I don't know of any quick way of fixing that other than upgrading PHP, and I don't know how to do that quickly. So that's it. That's the end of this video. Too bad, because the fun stuff would have followed, right, once it was up and running. I should have known there would be a stupid, obscure PHP error. What I'll do then, I guess, is send off a message to the authors of this this guide, telling them what happened, and referring them to my video where I've got how many hours of work. I've been running for an hour and 41 minutes, so I've done that much work. I could have done it a lot faster, of course, without creating this video. And there was some useful stuff learned here, obviously. But, you know, I can't reinstall PHP from scratch without really knowing what I'm doing. And trust me, I don't know what I'm doing. You know, I mean, it's going to be the base image, right? The base image is running like half, a quarter of a version behind what we want. Really something that should have been tested. Anyhow, I'll send them a note and see if there's anything I can do, but I'm gonna have to close this off for now. It's like 5 to 5 in the afternoon. It's time for me to take a break, finish off for the day. Hey, Stephen follows instructions. Sometimes the instructions lead you to a dead end. That's the nature of this stuff on the internet. It's really annoying. But that's why I'm doing this series, is, you know, I want you to see the stuff that I can run into, the stuff that I can fix, the stuff that I can't fix, and the sorts of things that I try to do. Now, I don't think I can fix my PHP version quickly. I'm not quite willing to give up on it yet. Let's look at my Docker Compose again. See, PHP service app build. See, it's this DigitalOcean.com PHP. That's the image that's running at PHP, whatever it was, 7.26. Yeah. There it is. Yeah, 7.2.34. And it needs to be 7.3. If I change that line, it might work, but I don't know what to change that line to. Maybe the latest. PHP Docker 7.3. Yeah. Why would, it's two different. How to upgrade. Here we go. From 7.2 to 7.3. That. All right, let's try a quick fix. All right, okay, so first I'm gonna have to go into the shell itself. So let's get to the bottom here. All right, okay. So how do I get into the shell? I have to use an exec command to get into the shell. So I know where I can find one of those because I have it written down in another file. Yes, I have it written down because I use it often enough. Is that it? No, but this will do. Okay. Here's the command. Docker exec term. Now I might have to specify which container I'm going into. Yeah. All right, but let's come back here. We'll come back. All right, so when I ran the exec command before, there it was. So exec app PHP. Okay. All right. Hopefully that'll open up a console window in my PHP app. Could not open input file. Oh, okay. Why? Oh, let's. Oops, let's just try this. No such container GR1. Oh, right. Okay, so let's try the container called, what was it, app? Yeah, there we go. Yes, we're in the PHP container. Good. All right. Let's now try to upgrade to PHP. .3? Yeah, 7.3. So we're going to run all of this crap. PHP-v. Yeah, 7.2. So if I run all of this stuff, right, because it's all sudoed. Okay, we'll do them one at a time. All right. First of all, we'll apt-get this. Now, I could make this work too just by putting all of these lines basically into the Docker file. It's kind of an awkward way of doing it, but it would work. Could not open lock file, permission denied. Or am I root? Yes, I'm root. Authorization failure. I'm not root. Okay, sudo. And there's no sudo. Oh, see, so I'm locked out. Authentication failure. And that'll fail too. Yeah, it was worth a try. Change root password. Oh, okay. We'll just type password. Okay. PASSWD. Current password. I don't know what the current password is. Password's unchanged. I might not be able to crack this. And there is no sudo. Type the password of the original. It's useless. Why do I need to be root to install? Let's come back to this. Okay. Let's find a PHP 7.3 Docker image. Oh, this will work. Maybe. None of that is helpful. Just trying to find a from. Okay. But it's not Alpine. I'm in Ubuntu. DigitalOcean. PHP 7.3 Docker from. Yeah, I could put these, could just put these in my Docker file. Let's just see if that in fact is an image somewhere. Can't tell really. I don't see it as an actual image anywhere. Oh, so annoying. I don't work in PHP. Well, let's just throw it to the Docker file and see what happens. You hear that a lot from me. Let's just throw it in the Docker file. See what happens. Okay. So nano Docker file. All right, I'm still in the shell. Nano Docker file. Oh, from PHP 7.2, change that to 7.3. Oh, that might work. Whoops. Control X. Oh, wouldn't it be funny if it was that simple? Docker compose up. It's not up to date. I know it's not up to date because I know it won't run. I need a hyphen. Nope. Force recreate. Okay. Oops. Because it thinks everything's fine, right? All right. Now, what was that command to make it work? Back up here. Right. We needed to generate that key. So I'll come back here, try generating that key. Right, it's still, I'm trying to get it to, I'm trying to force it to rebuild, right? And it won't rebuild. All right, let's try just adding the build command on it. There we go. So this might work. Sorry, I forgot to switch it back again, but there was just an awful lot of me just switching around. So here's what, while this is building, here's what I did. It's like I said, world's most boring video. Tried to get this to work, and I found that when I went into the container, I didn't have root access in the container, but it didn't recognize sudo inside the container, so I couldn't just install PHP 7.3 in the container, which really you're not supposed to do anyways. So I decided, okay, I need to find a PHP 7.3 image to start with rather than a 7.2. So I did that. I did a lot of searching around for it. Finally decided, okay, it's probably this, and then I went into the Docker file, and the Docker file is, if we take a look at it, no, that's down a bit here. See, PHP 7.2, so I changed that 2 to a 3. Yeah. And then I had to mess around to force it to build, but finally I used the command docker compose up -d -build to force it to build. And the result of that is what we see on the screen here. We're doing all this building again. Not much we can do about that. While we're doing that, now I've been doing this. I thought it would be an hour-long project. It wasn't. But while we're doing this, my newsletter was automatically sent, I assume. Let's have a look and see how much there was in it. Probably not much. Oh, okay, good. 4, that's fine. I sometimes put some things in ahead of time just in case I run into something like this. So that's today's newsletter, so good. Oh, configure error, please reinstall the live zip distribution. Yeah. So the install for zip failed. So I guess that's a prerequisite to 7.3. That wasn't a prerequisite to 7.2. So checking for live zip, not found. Please reinstall the live zip distribution. All right, let's see if I can't find that as copy that, Control C to copy, and we'll do a search on that specific error message. Okay, yep. apt-get. So let me just verify that. The package was not found, solved it. apt-get install libzip -dev. Huh. Alright, so we'll throw that into the Docker file before that line. So let's edit the Docker file. And run apt-get update and apt-get install. Let's just put it right here. And what was it? libzip? libzip-dev. Space. So apt-get install. To install it, -y to say yes anytime you're asked a question. This is the thing that we're trying to install that appears to be needed. Hopefully it's needed after this particular spot in the file, but we'll see. So Control X to save, Y, and let's try to Docker compose it again. And we're back to the start. So I'm trying to fill stuff now. Fortunately, we don't have to re-download all of this stuff, so at least that saves us some time. But yeah, step 6 of 16. Tool. I'm definitely sending them an email. So, how are we doing? 2 hours and 6 minutes. No more comments. Just hanging in there at either 1 or 0 viewers. I'm pretty impressed that anyone's with me even now. Some people, average watch time 19 minutes. That's pretty darn impressive, actually. If you're watching for 19 minutes of this, I'm really impressed. Okay, so we're still loading. Still loading. Yeah, I did a survey a while back, not too long ago, on my YouTube channel. Because like I got 1,000 followers, right? So it turns out, yeah, well, there is one watching. So I was able to put up a survey, but it didn't say where it would show. And video playlist community, is that where it might be? Oh yeah, here we go. Oh, cool. And I've had 3 people answer the survey. Nobody wants Stephen follows instructions, which is what we're doing right now. I love that. A survey responsive. Well, see, if 100 responded, that'd be 10%. If 10 responded, that'd be 1%. So if 3 responded, that's 0.3% response rate. Well, that's impressive. My throat's going hoarse. Been talking for a while here. Alright. Hasn't died yet. This might actually work. That'd be nice if it actually worked. Anyhow, let's look ahead. So let's suppose I can actually make this work. What's coming up? Okay, so modifying. Okay. That's where we were. So this is where it failed before. And it'll load the configuration into right config.php in the container, and then we could visit your server IP in the browser and we would see the home page. And I would still need to be able to access the MySQL and stuff. Okay. And then migrating and working with the console, etc. So we're trying to get to this screen. That would be nice, because that's the main objective here. Okay. Looks like we're done. So we got 3 containers running. All right. Should have the right version of PHP running now. So let's try this command. And permission denied. So we have a permission error. I hate PHP, I really do. Maybe I entered the wrong command. Generate. Let's try it here. Nope, still the same problem. Which means I'm not going to be able to view it after all. Right? Yeah, can't connect. Well, that's too bad. I can't fix this. I totally can't fix this. I'm not sure what the issue is. I mean, it's a permission issue, right? So, it's trying to vendor monologue. I don't even know what this is. So, okay, that's the end of our video, I'm afraid. I'm sorry it still didn't work. We did successfully get PHP 7.3 into our thing. We did successfully install that other package that we needed to, but as a result of the PHP upgrade, my best guess, we ran into an error in permissions, and I can't get around that error. It's something that needs to be fixed by the authors of the software, and that's not me. So I'm going to log this, send it in to the author here and of this article, so that maybe they can figure it out. Maybe I'll come back to this. Who knows? I'll maybe keep this engine around. Surely this had nothing to do with the fact that I was running on Reclaim. I'm pretty sure it didn't. I hope not. Because they didn't say I have to run it in some specific place. So I'll send them a message, see if they respond, and if they do, I'll pick this up and maybe try to finish it in a future installment of Stephen Fall's Instructions, the video series that nobody wants. Yeah. Yeah, that should be my slogan. The video series that nobody wants. How do I know? I have survey results to prove that. Alright. Sorry. Would have been cool to see it. See, nobody wants. Would have been cool. So, thanks to the one viewer who's still watching. Appreciate you hanging in there. I wish we could have ended with success, but we're going to end with failure. And, sorry. Keep watching the channel. We'll see.